So I came across the basin. There's the tarn. There's Arrowhead Meadow. The lake is down below the meadow. You cannot see it from this point. And the ascent to Royal Basin is around the right of the meadow and then up and then to the basin here. Last year, I decided to head to the east side of the basin, and this is where the other set of falls that I mentioned, that as you're coming up the meadow, the falls are on the left side of the basin and you can hear them to the right. I'll show you in just a minute. But what was cool is last year, a bank of fog just came in the morning, just settled in right over the lake down there, and it made for some pretty nice imagery. So what I did here, again f11, it's always the sweet spot on my Sigma lens, and I focus stacked with this white bleached out wood here, in particular this one going crossways here with the first exposure, f11 of course, and then the runoff down there, the creek at the bottom, and then the bank of trees. Actually, the second exposure is both the creek and the trees included, and then the third is the peaks up above. And the intent was to try to do as much focus stacking up here because the landscape is just so vast, so huge. So I'll show you the runoff from the upper snow. There's one channel there, and it drops down. And what all these do is combine to make the falls that dump down to create the creek on the east side of Arrowhead Meadow. And all of these combine to make up Royal Creek, which down below, about a mile in from the trailhead, Royal Creek dumps into the Dungeness River. So through the trees here, more runoff from that snow, down the rocks, and then that joins down here, creating the falls down below. So I scooted over a little closer so you could get a better view. What I was talking about earlier. There's one runoff there, creek down below, and the second one right there joining to create the falls. And so this, along with Royal Basin Falls or Royal Falls on the west side, create Royal Creek. Last year I shot this as well, and it was morning. The lighting was very, very nice, and there was a bit more flowers. I liked the rock there, and it actually turned out to be a brilliant image, I think. With it getting kind of dark now, I photo stacked it as well with that slate edge right on the creek in focus, and then that bare spot about midway up, and then of course the peaks. But yeah, I won't forget last year in the morning. I might come back tomorrow morning and see what this looks like. And this also dumps in. This falls right off the edge here and joins all of the other flows. So getting a little dark. 8 o'clock now. Sunset's around 9. Hopefully that moon will pop up and just illuminate the whole basin. If so, that'll be pretty sweet. So I think I'll head back, make sure everything's squared away and get a bite to eat, and go from there. Good morning. Well, this is day 2, part 2 of Royal Basin. If you're just joining, my name is Ed Arneson. This is Pacific Northwest Exposed. I'm at Upper Royal Basin Olympic National Park, up the Upper Dungeness Trails, 8 miles in, and then another 0.9 from Royal Lake up to Upper Basin. And for those that followed along from last night, I need to apologize. First of all, rarely do I sleep out here, but a few cat naps here and there. I nodded out a few times, and the wind just howled. I think it was the high pressure, that heat just was screaming up both sides of the basin, and it was something else. And then clouds moved in from the west, and I thought, nope, I was doomed. Maybe a storm coming in, although that wasn't in the forecast. And the moon did come up right about there, these peaks, but then the clouds pushed in further, and so really it didn't illuminate the basin like I hoped. So my alarm was set for 4 a.m., so I disengaged that, and fortunately woke up at 5 because the alpine glow just started on Mount Deception. So I need to apologize as I grabbed all my gear and ran, and I'll try to later backtrack when I quit and show you what I picked up. It was quite nice with the red on the peaks as the sun started to rise. And then I did catch some of the sunrise with some nice brilliant color, but clouds again. So I'm back where I ended last night, the furthest east, to this little stream here in this boulder. Like I mentioned, that last year it was quite nice with flowers down there, and I shot up catching some light on this peak. But the wind has picked up. It's a little cool, and I don't know if the clouds will increase or not. There was some nice color on the peaks, but it's gone, so it might be kind of washed out. I'm going to give it some time and see what happens. But on the way back, I'll show you where I stopped off. Did a lot of focus stacking, and out here the landscape is so massive and huge in this wilderness that a series of 3 shots for basically any composition that I did. So after I shot the red on these peaks, and there was a little bit down in the basin over there, I made a beeline up to that clump of trees there, and I shot down below me, and like I said, photo stacking, and with rocks in the foreground and snow, and then down that way with these line of trees in focus, and then the furthest peaks. And Arrowhead Meadow is just down below there, and with some nice lighting initially coming off those hills, kind of lightening the green, real nice. So did quite a bit of that, and I was up over on another clump here to the right. So down below at that creek, that was a wash, so I'm moving back. The weather seems to change, at least for now. Maybe it'll clear up, but It's all right. It's cool. It'll be a better climb down. So that's about as high east as I went. Maybe at some point I'll drop down below, but I wanted to get that light while I could. Heading back, I just stopped here for a moment, stacked this landscape with these two boulders here in front. One exposure. I went with f6 this time. Light is still a bit low, and hopefully bring out more of the detail or colors anyway. There's not much with the cloud cover going on. And then second exposure, that clump of trees in the center right below, and then the third shot, the peak up above. From the basin, west side, and camp and the tarn, I made a beeline this morning. First of all, to that knoll, that clump of trees, and was able to shoot then across. There's deception there, and it had some nice red tones in it, as well as clear across down the needles. So heading back down, I didn't mention last night, that runoff, these are basically snow bridges, and you get near them, you can hear the water underneath, so I've got to be careful to skirt around them. Whenever I hear water flow, I just go around. So I'm heading back to camp there west. So last night coming back, I tried scooting across there until I started hearing flow underneath. I've yet to test the audio on this device, but hopefully you can hear that stream running under that boulder there, therefore under all of the ice. So, my direction is that way. Passed this composition countless times, and many yesterday. Here's another snow bridge, of course. The creek is running down, and to my right here, and then on down the basin. So I did a series of 3 shots with f6. These 2 boulders again in the foreground, then second exposure with the stream and that pine just to the right. And then third and last, that domed triangle peak up top. Well, I'm packed up, broke camp, and it is 8:15. And of course, it looks like it's just going to be another bluebird day and a strong ultraviolet after that cloud cover this morning and those clouds that moved in last night. So I'm going to make my way down, and as mentioned yesterday, I'm going to try to check out Royal Falls, which is pretty spectacular. Maybe take off my shoes and wade across so I can get a good shot at it. So I'll take you along with me and show you some sights along the way. Here's Royal Meadow. Royal Lake is down below. And this is where you climb up along the creek bed. To the destination here. drop down to the Arrowhead Meadow. And if you see the white patch leading up to that peak there, those are river beds or creek beds, if you will, filling the far side of the meadow, also making Royal Creek. And so the trail along the left here, you cross over this creek on the left where the falls are, over, up, and then you skirt just along the left edge of that snow patch and that creek, and then you dump over into Upper Basin. So I had mentioned Royal Falls, and this is on the way out. This is the next stop before the lake, and then the exit out of here. Previous years, it was all snowed in, and there was a snow bridge. I could cross the creek here, and then get up top, right in front of the falls. It's a little deep. There's some log crossings, but I think I'm going to forego that. But I was able to gather shots back then that year straight up on it, so which was quite nice. Royal Falls, Royal Basin. Well, this is it. This is extrication point for me. Now it's 8 miles down to the Upper Dungeness trailhead out of here. This is Royal Lake, and this is what you see when you first come up into Royal Basin. So Royal Lake, Royal Falls, Arrowhead Meadow, and then Upper Basin. So that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed this 2-part series of Royal Basin Olympic National Park. And those following along, please hit the like button. And if this is your first time visiting, follow along. Appreciate it. Thanks. We'll catch you later.